man. How does it feel to be here at Oklahoma City HorrorCon meeting all these wonderful fans?
It's great. I always love going to the conventions for trick or treat in general, getting to meet all the fans one-on-one, and being back in Oklahoma City because I filmed a movie here called BK Boys, which is like an anime superhero kind of thing. My first superhero movie, I guess. It's really nice to be back and like breathe in the same air and get some of the same, although this time it's really hot.
It is hot.
Yeah. Adding on to that, if there's any questions that you feel like, oh, I missed my chance to ask, you can always swing by my table and ask me one-on-one. I really enjoy meeting each and every one of you in like a one-on-one setting.
Do that anyway because I walk by there and he's got some really cool stuff for you guys. So, all right, each y'all. I mean, be thinking about it. I won't ask you another question, but it's it's about you guys. What would you say I'm probably done has been the most memorable for you personally?
Well, it's all apples and oranges across the board, so there isn't really like a direct comparison between any two projects of them. And Trick or Treat is the first one I'd say that really cemented as like one of my favorite projects. Because I was a little kid, got to dress up in a Halloween costume every day that I was on set and play demonic killer or enforcer of the rules of Halloween. So yeah, I really got into character with that. My parents claimed that I never broke character when I went home, so I don't know if I did it, but the thrill of running out and jumping on scaring people and having people, like the adults, lose track of me, even though I'm wearing bright orange. I had a lot of fun with that. And then later on, there were like, all these other movies that I've been part of. They will have like their own unique reasons why they're like some of the most impactful movies. So in 2012, there was this movie that I was a part of that filmed in Montreal. And I was like, okay, I've never been to Quebec before. And so they flew me all the way out there, and there was like this whole green screen studio, and like it was the band Language. They made a movie called Imaginaerum. And someone recognizes it. Not too many people do recognize it though, which is very interesting. But it was like the whole green screen harness work, CG experience, and it was a lot of fun in that regard. Fast forward to 2016, I got part of the Amazon Prime series of Night Castle, and that had like a whole bunch of like vintage, like 1960s stuff, but with a sci-fi twist, of course. And so all these different projects, and of course in Oklahoma City, I got to be in my first anime superhero movie. I think rewinding a little bit, I went to Santa Fe and was in my first Western movie, of course it's an independent film, but like I got to fire all these like revolvers with blanks in it. It was the first time I ever did that. That was a lot of fun. So really hard to compare all of these for all these different reasons, but I'd say I've come really lucky with the projects I've been part of. So
Hey, it looks like you got some winter chicken dinners out there. And if you you probably know how to do it. You squeeze that little handle thing right there.
I think that's it.
Okay, there you
Okay.
go.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm from Amarillo, Texas. Trick or Treat has been one of my favorite movies since I can't even remember. But one of my questions is, since you were so young whenever you did film, how did you feel working in that type of environment as like a horror film?
well, from the earliest I can remember, I've never really been scared of anything except for maybe a natural disaster. So
So it's just came natural.
it did kind of come natural, and I also had a bit of a habit when I would go to like malls and things. Like I did not have any sort of like fear of making and everything. So I would reenact like any Lucasfilm, because like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, whatever. I would just act that out in front of anyone who would watch. There was like clothing stores and stuff when I was like 4 or 5 years old at this point, and I would just stand next to the mannequins, and I would be as still as I could possibly be, and everyone would be like, "There's no way there's a small child that young that can stay that still." So I'd actually fool people until I jumped out and scare them. So of course I already had the scare factor. And just getting to go into the wardrobe and see how all of the effects are done, like that was really, really cool. Like figuring out all about the light and stuff. And that actually, that helped me more way going forward into other projects. There was a show called Smallville, and I was possessed by the Phantom. It was like one episode, beginning of the next episode thing, and there was, I think it was like off-screen murder. And so I reached into this bucket of red peppers and blood or whatever, and so I grabbed the peppers in my hand. It was like dripping all the way down my elbow. And I'm like, this is freaking cool. So it's like you get to see all of the stuff, and they explain exactly what the mix was made of, and I thought that was super fascinating. So just like understanding all that, oh yeah, like the sugar blend, so it's more rubbery, and like just punch right through it. I just love like learning aspect of it. So.
Well, thank you.
Good question.
Hi, I'm Jess. My only question is for Trick or Treat. What was your favorite kill scene other than your own?
Other than my own,
That could be the prank or the beheading. Either or. I just want to know what was your favorite.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because like there are a whole bunch of like good kills in that movie, but then I'm like trying to filter it, like which one were directly Sam's fault or indirectly, because he was sitting there when the werewolves were doing their thing, so does that count as Sam? Or, honestly, I think
Technically, you were there for all of them. But was it by you or done by you?
you know,
You saw all of them. You didn't do all of them.
Exactly. You know, it is kind of a toss-up because I'm thinking of the lug pull part for when you have the head on the platter. You don't know that until like the very last moment. And I mean, I do like it for that aspect of like it's a total rug pull. It's like, oh, he's on it too. But I also really like the school bus. That was pretty insane. It was the whole, we're not faking anymore, kind of like, no, we're just leaving you there anyway. And then the whole Sam approved, like standing there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I was just wondering, what was your introduction into like horror films, and what was your favorite franchise growing up or even today?
Horror franchise or just a franchise?
Horror franchise, or I mean, you can blanket to the other ones.
Well, my introduction to horror, as far as things that I was scared of, I think it was the movie called King, because natural disaster. I was scared of that, but then I watched like other movies like The Shining, and I'm not scared. It was like maybe a jump scare or two will get me, but I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not really much like actual fear. It's just like, oh, okay. But yeah, as far as franchises, I think for the longest time, I think it was partially the comedic aspect. I really enjoyed Army of Darkness or Evil Street. Still have yet to meet Bruce Campbell, by the way. Despite going to as many conventions I've gone to, so yeah, it just hasn't lined up just yet.
Thank you so much.
I was just wanting to know, did you have fun working with, I think his name's Brian Cox, the older man, you fought in that scene a little bit?
Yeah, that was a really fun scene to film, and it even has like the Thing reference.
I mean, that was probably the longest scene you had, so that's why I was curious about, like, that was probably my favorite scene, but I mean, the whole movie's great, but I was just wondering how it felt to, like, work with him and do that scene.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I remember like there was all sorts of interesting well, I mean, anytime I was playing Sam, there were visual difficulties, of course, because of the burlap sack in her face. But specifically in that portion of the movie, the mask comes off. You'd think I'd be able to see better, but I actually don't see anything at all. Because they have the whole animatronic face in front, so it's pitch black. And it's not until Sam, well, spoiler alert, gets the shotgun shot that I'm able to see out of that tiny little hole way up here. The corner of my vision is like, oh, can you see your mark? And I'm like, Okay, yeah, I can see it. And then for the rest of the sequence, it's like, come to the sound of my voice. And I'm like, but I can't see. So I'm going like this, trying to see where I'm going. And they're like, oh, no, you have to walk menacingly. And I'm like,
I mean, in other words, if you ran into a wall, you had to.
I'm sure there must be like at least one like blooper or something where I'm just like, they're rolling back on the dolly cam or something, and I'm just like walking slowly out of frame or something.
Thank you.
So I was wondering, how does it feel to be one of the only child killers?
No one's asked me that before.
It's a big asshole.
Yeah, when you put it that way, yeah, I never really thought of it that way. Because I'm also like, I'm 26 now, so I'm not so much a kid anymore, but it's a surreal feeling. Yeah, it's very unique. I'm not really sure how to react to that.
You stopped him, that's great.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
If you grab that handle on the bar that's going up right there, yep, just squeeze that, yep.
Hi, my name is Athena. Do you have a favorite horror game?
Horror game?
Yes.
I can't say I've played much in the genre of horror games, but I did. What counts as a horror game?
Like Outlast.
I can't say I've played any of those. I've heard of quite a few horror games, but I never really got on to them. I think I tend to play mostly like first-person shooter.
Whoa!
Yeah, more real-time strategy games. Yeah, I don't know, as far as horror games. Yeah, I don't think I've ever played that. Oh, no, Zombies Comes Horror, right? So I think I did play Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 at some point.
Thank you.
I did play some.
Just squeeze that handle, you right there.
I'm Carrie. If you could join another horror franchise, which one would you want to be in?
Ooh, well, I am a big fan of the Lovecraftian horror subgenre of horror. That seems to be the one that I like. And so right now I'm currently reading through it. I've got this big book that's like 600 pages, and it's like the entire Cthulhu mythos. I'm nearing the end, but there's a lot of cool stuff in there. And so, you know, the movie The Thing, I could see there's like at least one story in there where it's like, okay, this thing could fit perfectly into this first portion of the story, but it keeps going on and on and on. What if the movie franchise of The Thing continued in the same sort of sense? But yeah, I guess it comes down to like what really qualifies as Lovecraftian versus not Lovecraftian. So I really like the movie Alien as well. So I'm a big sucker for sci-fi and sci-fi horror franchise. Yeah, probably.
Thank you.
Or Predator.
Hey, how's it going today? So I know that Michael Dory is working on Trick or Treat 2. Is that something that you will kind of be participating in? Not really in the scene portion, but just as a portion in general as far as a cameo or some other kind of character?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, that's a good choice for sure. Definitely. I'm pretty excited about it. It's been forever since the first one came out, or a good stretch at least. You've grown quite a bit, so it makes sense. And we've all grown quite a bit.
I did play two characters though. One of them is human, so he could possibly grow up.
You are correct. You were in the dressing room. Yeah.
Yes, and so it almost seems as though that he could get his comeuppance in the sequel.
No, very true. The other question I had, you mentioned Lovecraft. What is your favorite Lovecraft story currently?
Ooh, well, it could just be the last one that I read, but there's so many good ones. Honestly, because I like the thing so much, I think the story that is very similar to the thing would be that Mountain Madness, and I think that would be it's like 110 pages.
It is, it's really short, but it's really good though. Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Or actually, keep going. So the other answer, or you keep on?
Oh yeah, I'm still going with it.
Go for it.
So many. Mountain Madness, the nameless city where you're falling down the hole. That was really creepy.
Yes.
And I think there was a chronologically, I'm not even sure what is the correct chronological order, but it's like the first time they showed a Sharpeth, where it was like this amalgamation, it's like this whole huge thing and it's shapeshifts.
No, it's really sweet. There's a story also, I think what it's called currently, but it's, I'm not sure, hold up. Well, but it's one where the guy is running from the creature, the entire thing, entire story. I think what it's called, but he is the creature, like he finds out that it's a mirror he sees. And it's just, that's it, yeah.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, it is a good one. But yeah, thank you so much for your answers, I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
My question is, does Sam stay the same age? Because if you remember, whenever those kids went off the bus, Sam was sitting there, but at the same time in the future, he's the same age.
Yeah.
So does he age?
Is he the same age, or is he just the same dimensions? Because he is, after all, the spirit of Halloween, so perhaps there is no aging, or perhaps if there is aging, it's more like immortal than before. Because he took some fatal blows, and then he just regenerated from it, so.
Thank you.
Awesome. So Yellowstone was terrifying you. Yellowstone?
Oh.
Because of the volcano?
Yeah, well, not necessarily terrifying. I've kind of not necessarily grown out of my fear of natural disasters, but I've realized that they don't happen every day, at least in the same spot every day. So it's not like it's going to come after you and get you. But oh yeah, what did actually kind of freak me out was the Chernobyl miniseries. That was really well done.
Yes, it was.
Because radiation is real.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's some parts of it that are okay. That is something you cannot talk to, you cannot run from necessarily, cannot negotiate with it. It is a fact.
Yeah, absolutely, that was terrifying. We've got some more questions out here. Awesome.
Have you ever dressed up as Sam after you filmed the movie as a kid?
Yes. It took me a long time before I did that, because I think, I started to dress like a Sam again for the photo ops as an in-costume kind of thing, and it really gave me a nostalgic feeling of, oh wow, this is the same costume pretty much. Like, it was very, very close. I think it was the Spirit Halloween mask that did like a really good approximation of like what it was like actually with the original one. Of course, it's like when I saw it in 2016, so I'm recalling it 19 years ago. Unfortunately, I don't have the costume with me this time for photos, but it's a lot of fun to dress like a costume.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
This has nothing to do with the movie, just a question. All the I Survived books, what natural disaster would you want to be stuck in?
Stuck in?
Stuck in? That's not like you can stop it.
So what would be the natural disaster that I would want to live through? Probably a mild one. I guess what really counts as a natural disaster is like it's an earthquake. I think maybe at the top of the list, the one I would avoid would be a volcanic eruption. Thank God I don't live near any volcanoes. But we did mention Yellowstone. And that thing has a huge range, but it was
Things here, sinkholes.
Yeah, simple. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty creepy. Especially after I've read some Lovecraft. So, I don't think I've heard of him.
Yeah, like people in Florida have parties in hurricanes.
Oh, wow.
Like,
I will say I'm a fan of high winds, but if a wind start getting stuff over it, you have to duck for cover.
there's a special breed of individual that lives there.
I mean, sitting on your porch watching the tornadoes, that's what it is. They're having some sweet tea.
And you Oklahoma people are crazy. There's no way I'd move
I
up
don't know who
there.
said that was a national disaster. I don't think anyone considered tornadoes here.
When they're a F5, they're a disaster. I watched those videos.
So it has to be past a certain point when it becomes a natural disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, no one. What about like a mudslide or something? Or like a mountain region? No? That's not
Would you rather mud or ice? Mud or ice?
Well, snow can intimidate them, so I think snow.
You should have seen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe with ice you could like eat your way out.
Yeah, almost. Or like some sort of like avalanche type deal. Yeah, okay. That might be one of the mindful ones that I would sign up for living through, maybe.
Thank you.
A big wall of mud with trees coming down, that's terrifying.
Oh,
Any other cool questions?
really cool questions already.
There has been a lot of really cool questions already. And apparently natural disaster questions are hot topic. What would be your favorite, I know you said you kind of grew out of your education, but doesn't have anything, but what's your favorite natural disaster movie?
I kind of tend to not watch these movies. Although, does it count as a natural disaster or an artificial disaster for like the movie where they avert the actual?
Oh, that counts for sure.
Because I have a predisposition to like sci-fi, so going into space and averting the natural disasters up my alley. So.
I love that movie because it just shows that once again rednecks sit out there out in space and don't ever count them out. Okay? They're a group of doers.
I have a question. Some actors borrow stuff from sets.
Oh, yeah.
Have you borrowed anything from any of your sets?
I think from Trick or Treat, I didn't necessarily go out of my way to borrow or keep anything, but I was forgiven some of the original burlap that the gloves and masks were cut from. So that is my keepsake from that one. I think there was a student in 2016, but I played as a deputy at one point, so I had to keep like a little, little metal background. I'm like, hey, that keeps taking out my food. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay, we'll get the idea.
What was your favorite weapon to use? The holy code or
Ooh. Stop me there. I think it comes down to how each weapon is introduced. And so, with the lollipop, it's just a lollipop, and he bites it, and then it's sharp, and then the danger's there. But no, the Hollywood chocolate bar, I think I prefer, because he gets hamstrung and he falls, and then you see the kid emerge, and then he's like, what are you doing there? He's got the You know, and he peels back the wrapper, and then, so it's a slower kind of reveal. And I think for that reason, I do like the chocolate one.
Good question.
Also, I think the added layer for that same one is the significance of how Principal Wilkins gave that out. So it's technically thanks to him that he's able to use that.
More people. One more got one. If you got another question, come on, bud.
So I was just wondering, what's in Sam's sack? Because we know that he might kill people sometimes. So is it like body parts or is it just simply candy?
You know, when I was on set, I was actually wondering this exact same thing. And I sort of let my imagination fill in the blanks. And then after watching the movie and hearing the sound of what could have been a live or semi-alive cat in the bag as it thumps down the stairs in one of the scenes, I think there might be a cat in there. And I think there might be other dangerous candy, let's put it that way. And I think maybe he doesn't, maybe he doesn't, of each of the people at the crossing. Because I think at the very beginning of the movie, like, he makes a display of that one person, but then she is kind of chopped up in a bit. So there's not really a way of accounting for the entire person there, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, and before he killed that person, I can't remember, did he have the sack before he did that?
Ooh, tracking chronological order in this movie is, I can't say I've seen him without the sex. I think he just has the sex.
Okay.
Good question.
Hello, I'm Aaron. Who is the most famous person, some famous people that you've met, and who is one that you would love to meet?
Ooh. As far as people I would love to meet, ever since I watched a horror movie, being I'm into like cinema, would be Bruce Campbell, so I've done. As far as people I have met, and yeah, there's a lot. Either in passing or but yeah, I got to meet Vern Schroyer. That was really nice. At a convention, I got to meet Mark Hall and Stanley and St. That was not necessarily that's what I photos. But for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on it.
I can't.
There are so many others. It's almost like there's so many that I can't think about a single name at the moment. But yeah.
Do you still feel like a kid when you meet? You're like, oh, I get to see somebody, even though you're famous. And then
Yeah, I kind of think that way. And most recently, since I'm a fan of sci-fi, I ended up watching the TV show Farscape from 1999. And so Ben Browder, I got to work with him. He played my dad in the movie EK Boys, which I found here in Oklahoma City. So that was the most recent time I ever had that feeling.
do you follow the rules of Halloween?
Yes.
So you leave your jack-o'-lantern lamp all night? Do you leave candy outside or inside with you?
You gotta hand it out, don't you?
I mean, so you do have to hand it out, but he comes after, like, later in the night too. So do you leave it outside or do you keep it with you? Because I do both.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It makes it both. Like, if you have to like, go to bed or something, you're not having the same appetite too. And
Yeah. Do you use real flames or do you use, like, the electric ones?
For me personally, I do like the actual candles.
Yeah.
And like, figuring out what you can actually carve out of it. I've seen some really good pumpkin decorations.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, like so many references. I'm not entirely sure how people do it. Like, are they just that skilled with the blade, or is there like some sort of way of?
You can use like stencils.
Yeah.
So I've done that before, but I like to freehand it. It's like more creative, I think, that way.
Yeah.
But one time I left my candle on all night, like you're supposed to, and it burned the pumpkin a little bit. So now I use the electric ones.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm gonna ask you one more question. We're gonna let him get back to his booth, but don't forget to go by there and see him one-on-one.
I think right after this, I'll be doing my photo ops, and then I'll be back at the
How many of y'all got photo ops? Well, y'all better get down there. That's what I say. Y'all better get down there. All right, last question. You got anything in the works right now? I know you won't be able to tell us anything, but if you do, really probably would.
Well, if I could say something, I would say something about like, well, I'm not hoping as much as you guys are about GPT too, but during this, I've also, like, since I've been reading the Cthulhu stuff, I've been kind of using that as a research because that's a horror subgenre that I really enjoy. And so I'm thinking like of all the scripts that I've been writing, because they're all sci-fi based, it's like my sci-fi horror script. Well, it's going to have that Lovecraftian horror, the whole different planes of existence, and how science can mess around with the different planes of existence in ways that we can't truly fathom until we make a mistake. And so I'm still reading through the entire rest of the stories. As soon as I finish that, I feel like I'll probably have my research finished, and then I can, revise the script I already have for it. And then the question goes, well, how do I recruit other people into, reading this and being part of the creative process, and making the script go to screen? And I think just the whole process of like every single part to play, like both in front of and behind the camera, I think that's going to be a lot of interesting stuff to learn about and figure out by either doing or experimenting, or how much of this can I do by myself, and then figure out.
Right, you gotta get the right team.
Yeah, because I've also figured out like part of the soundtrack for it, I think, because I just randomly press some notes on the piano and I'm like, wait a second, and when I start playing it, I'm like, yes.
Okay.
So I'm slowly but surely making a randomly wandering in the direction of getting me, but I have to see like how long this takes.
Well, if you need an egotistical, blonde-headed, red-bearded guy to kill him, holler at me.
Okay.
All right, give it a little more, guys. Give it a little more.